One of the most obvious times that ethics comes into play in a professional environment is in determining who is responsible for what. Now, this is often done in response to something going wrong. But it should also be seen as a preventative measure. Who is responsible to make sure that this doesn't happen, or to make sure that this error doesn't occur? The intuitive way of dealing with this, which we see consistently both in society and in the media as well, is to divide responsibility up. Here's 100% of the responsibility for the situation. Every stakeholder or player or contributor to the situation gets a share. This person gets 20%, that person gets 30%, this is the major contributor, they get 60%. It's very intuitive, and it seems to make a lot of sense on paper. But in practice, it starts to fall apart and can easily contribute to some very toxic environments. When you add additional people into this mix, everyone's share of the blame decreases. And thus, we start to look for additional people to include, reducing everyone's share of the blame, and suddenly no one's responsible. If you want to reduce your share of the blame, someone else's share needs to increase. And thus, we start to develop two very toxic cultures. One where people are fighting with each other to distribute the blame away from themselves, to find scapegoats, so that they are personally not responsible, while no one, as a result, is working on the actual problem itself. The effort to spread the blame outwards and send it out to other stakeholders as a means of reducing your own responsibility, which again takes away all of that effort which could be spent on fixing the problem itself. A toxic culture develops where stabbing others in the back is not only enabled but rewarded. Every professional environment has seen this at some point. The cause of this sort of toxic culture is quite simple. That division of responsibility model doesn't work. Allow me to put it to you like this, a very simple ethical hypothetical. You're at a party, there's a pool. There's a child swimming in the pool and the child starts to drown. There's 10 of you standing around the outside of this pool. Any one of you could save the child, but no one does. Are you 10% responsible for the subsequent death of that child? What does that even mean? What is 10% of a death? How do you divide something that is indivisible? Furthermore, does it matter that no one else helped? Why only 10% responsibility to you when you could have fixed the problem entirely on your own? If there was two people, would you be 50% responsible? Nothing's changed in terms of your ability to solve the problem. Or is it rather that you are entirely responsible for a problem that you can easily fix yourself, and so is everyone else? We need a different metric to determine who is responsible, because the division model clearly doesn't work. Capacity to intervene. This is not a question of what anyone else is doing. That's their problem. Your question is what you can realistically do to solve the problem in the specific situation you are facing. To use that pool metaphor, can you think of a reason why you wouldn't get into the pool to save that child? Obviously, if you can't swim, you're just going to add a second problem to the mix. But that doesn't mean your capacity is zero. You could still call the ambulance. You could still call for help. There's so much more nuance to this. The division of responsibility model robs you of so many options. Ways that you could positively contribute to the problem that you're not thinking about when you're trying to defend yourself from other people trying to move the blame. Therefore, division of responsibility comes down not to what is everyone else doing and can I move the blame around, but rather to what is your capacity to positively contribute to resolving it, or better yet, preventing it.